You are listening to Season 4 of Black Girl Missing, a true crime podcast covering stories of missing black girls under the age of 18. When black girls go missing, their cases are severely underreported in mainstream media. Join us as we dig deeper, ask questions, and provide unconsidered context. Due to the sensitive and sometimes graphic nature of these cases, we advise you to please use caution when listening.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Black Girl Missing. So nice to have you back. I'm Nikki.
I'm Asa.
I'm sorry. I don't. Whatever name I was about to say, it's obviously not the one I'm supposed to say. I am Michelle Taylor, PhD, MSW, and we're back. We're back. How's everybody doing?
I'm black.
Yeah,
Well,
black
that
and
means a
black.
lot this month. It's June. Depending on when you're listening to this, but when we're
Mhm.
recording, it is June, and June is Black Music Month. It is Juneteenth is in June. We have Caribbean Heritage Month. We have Pride Month. There's a lot of stuff here to be
I
celebrating.
call it Black June.
Yeah, it should
That
be. I
works.
think we should call it Black June. It's like Jubilation Month, So,
Yeah.
and people are instead arguing about the diaspora on social
Oh
media.
God.
As America is on the eve of its final collapse, niggas want to
Mhm.
argue about who is from where and did what. But anyway, um, shout out to all of the people that are taking to the streets to protest the fascism that is out there. We care about all of that stuff. I'm always concerned about the children and how they get caught up. We do focus on Black girls on this podcast, but we also know that with these ICE raids that are happening, we are hearing entirely too many stories of children being snatched from their parents or being left on the streets as their parents are snatched away. And we are in solidarity with all oppressed people and all marginalized people. And we hate the destruction of families and we hate to see what's happening. Just officially, we want you all to know that the Women of Black Girl Missing podcast, we support all the efforts to fight back against this.
Unequivocally,
Yeah, yeah,
to our core.
yeah, 100%.
Fuck ICE.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. We are always in solidarity. We don't buy into that it's not my fight nonsense. We don't do the
Mm-mm.
I'm resting nonsense or I'm sitting this out. We do not believe that the fight always continues, which is why we do the work that we do, and we are happy that you're here. So thank you to everybody who's. But shout out to everybody who has supported us. Every time I mention the podcast, people hit me up and just say it's like their favorite podcast, or they want more episodes, or they really love that we're doing this. So shout out to everyone who has enjoyed us. Shout out to our fans. Shout out to everybody that has given us 5-star ratings. We love that. We need that. Definitely support us. We do this as a labor of love. We don't make no money for this. We
We
just do it.
spend money to do
We
this.
spend money to do this. We
Yeah.
just do this because we love this, and we thank you all for the support.
We love you very
Yeah.
much. Excuse me, Michelle, did you just say people are saying that they are resting?
Yeah, yeah. There are people
That's
saying,
a thing?
well, because they voted for Kamala Harris, and so
That's all I had to do.
that
That
was
was
the
the
work
end
of
of the
their
work.
life. That was the work of their lifetime, and they're
Um,
resting. They're sitting on tops of burning buildings, drinking
Hmm.
Starbucks, and wearing their shirts
I
that
slapped the
say
shit out of y'all.
they're the 92%. Um,
Oh, that's what it is.
Whatever.
That's oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's the
Okay. That
I
92%.
assume they're also listening to R. Kelly, but
Yeah, and supporting Chris Brown,
yeah.
who is
well,
actually suing me for $50 million. But that's not what this podcast is about.
That's neither here nor there.
All right.
a pox upon their
Well.
houses. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, Asa, what you got for us today? I know this is probably gonna be a little bit heavy. Let me put some more bourbon in
this
my cup.
one,
Hold
this
on.
is this is gonna be a longer one. There was a lot of research because there was a lot of information.
Do we need an
This
extra
is
trigger warning today?
um. Ye-
Let's go on
I
and do
feel
it.
like we have a permanent trigger warning on the
We
podcast,
do.
but yeah, you
We
might as
do.
well.
But for
Mhm,
purposes of
mhm.
sexual
Uh,
abuse and grooming,
yeah,
we just gonna put an extra little
mhm,
layer of trigger warning if that's gonna be difficult for you
yeah.
to hear or to listen to, and it is gonna be a little bit longer of an episode. Put on your comfy pants, get you a drink, sit down and talk to us for a little while. If you can't handle it, that's okay. We understand.
Love you anyway. So this is the case of Naziah Harris. Naziah Harris was just 13 years old when she went missing on January 9th, 2024 from Detroit, Michigan. On January 9th, Naziah took the bus to school at J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy with video evidence of her getting on the bus. She had her hair in two braided puffballs, clear framed glasses, a white sweater with a black jacket over it, a colorful Rugrats puffy jacket with a fur lined hood, light blue jeans, and Nike shoes. She was last seen getting off the bus after school on the east side of Detroit, about a quarter mile from her home in the area of Cornwall Street and 3 Mile. When she didn't return home, she was reported missing by her adoptive mother, who is her biological grandmother, Annette Harris. It was unlike her to go missing, so it immediately caused alarm. At first, the Detroit Public Schools Police Department, a public school needs a whole police department, but besides the point, investigated the case but turned it over to the Detroit Police Department's Missing Persons Homicide Unit in early February of 2024. Like many school districts, students were issued a tablet to do their work. Much of the evidence used in building the case around her disappearance was retrieved from this device. This tablet was the device she took her last photo on, which is the photo most used in news articles. Naziah also used the school-issued tablet to communicate with others. However, much of her communication was to one specific person, Jarvis Ramon Butts. Jarvis Butts was 41 at the time of Naziah's disappearance. He is the father of 5 children with Naziah's aunt, Shannon Harris, which is how he became connected to Naziah. On this day, she sent a message to Jarvis Butts that indicated plans for them to meet up after she got out of school that day. Video evidence showed her leaving at the end of the school day in the same outfit she left school in, and she was going to meet up with Jarvis and one of his co-workers, as stated in the text messages. They then returned to the auto repair shop in Detroit where the 2 adults worked. Jarvis's sister, Tawana Butts, stated that she saw Naziah at the shop that day between 4:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. Jarvis, the co-worker, and Naziah were together in the co-worker's car when they went to Ypsilanti, Michigan, about 37 miles west of Detroit, and then returned to the shop on Connor Street in Detroit. Cell phone records placed Jarvis at all of these locations. Jarvis checked into the Park Crest Motel in Harper Woods from 9:30 p.m. to 12:20 p.m. There's a receipt confirming this, as well as his phone placing him at that location. This was the last day that Naziah had been seen. Yeah.
Okay.
Jarvis is no stranger to the criminal justice system.
Of course not.
Nope. Prosecutors called him a serial child rapist who sexually assaulted an 8-year-old family member and a girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter, who reportedly caught chlamydia from the assault between 2012 and 2017. He had been charged with 5 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct and 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct for those assaults. Court records also show that Jarvis was also convicted of sexually assaulting a child in 2004. According to Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy, Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women to have sexual relationships with their young daughters.
Wait, now
She
how,
said
wait, how old is he?
he is where did
The only reason why I'm thinking
Was it-
because that's 2004. That's 21 years ago.
mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
What?
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
Sorry.
It just stood out to me. Like, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
wait a minute. He's been doing this for at least 20 some odd years.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Kim Worthy said he was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile. Starting in September of 2022, Jarvis allegedly began sending sexually explicit text messages to Neziah, and she sent sexually explicit photographs of herself in return. During a preliminary court hearing, Sergeant Shannon Jones, the officer in charge of the investigation into Neziah's disappearance, read countless text messages exchanged between the two from 2022 and the day she disappeared. From the messages and her post on social media, it's believed she genuinely loved Jarvis Butts and thought they were in a romantic relationship.
Oh, God.
For context, Neziah was 11 to 12 years old in 2022. If my math is correct, Jarvis would have been 38, 39 years old at this time. Most of the text messages were sexually explicit, discussing times when the two would meet for Jarvis to sexually assault her, as well as him allegedly asking her for naked photos and to perform sexual acts on him. The text messages also revealed that Neziah told him that she had missed her period and talked about her pregnancy. In September 2023, 4 months before she went missing, Neziah texted Jarvis that she had not had her period, and in November 2023, the evidence shows that he knew that she was pregnant. His phone records showed that he searched online about abortions, abortion pills, and drinking red antifreeze to induce an abortion. On January 10th, 2024, it is alleged that Jarvis was in the Rouge River area of Detroit. The clothing Neziah was last seen wearing was found in the same area, with damage to an article of clothing that could indicate a struggle had taken place. During his preliminary hearing, a DNA analyst testified that they found his and Neziah's DNA on a black hoodie and a pink jumpsuit found in the wooded area. Due to what was found during the investigation and the following facts, authorities believe that Neziah is deceased. She had no record of unexcused or unexplained absences. Despite being an active social media user, there has been no activity on her social media accounts or any contact with her family since the day she went missing. She also didn't have any medical issues that could have caused a medical emergency. Fast forward to September 26, 2024, the Detroit Police Department arrested Jarvis Ramon Butts and charged him with the homicide and rape of Neziah Harris. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy announced that he has been charged with first-degree premeditated murder, child sexually abusive activity, and criminal sexual conduct second-degree person under 13, defendant 17 or older. When the following details came out during his multi-day preliminary hearing, the public outcry was a mix of rage and disgust, to kind of put it lightly. Multiple witnesses took the stand for that hearing, including Neziah's aunt, mother of 5 of Jarvis's children, who testified that after her niece went missing, she found inappropriate Instagram messages between Neziah and Jarvis. On a separate day, Neziah's cousin, who was 8 years old when she disappeared, recalled Jarvis Butts told her, Neziah, and another cousin that he was going to take them to the store, but they ended up at the Detroit auto shop where Butts worked. She recalled this and other occasions where he was trying to have sex with my cousin Neziah. She said Jarvis was naked and Neziah was sitting on his lap, her pants on the floor. The girl said Jarvis had sex with her other cousin on a second occasion and tried to have sex with her on a third occasion, but she said no and asked that he take her back home. During this hearing, out of the 8 witnesses who testified, only one person said that something seemed different about Neziah the day she went missing. A substitute teacher named Marilyn Lee, who had known Neziah since first grade, said she'd seemed off. She said that she gave Neziah an assignment, but then the girl laid down on the floor, something she never did. On the 9th, she came in and she was acting very unusual, Lee said. She said, "Miss Lee, I have to go to the counselor." I said, "After we eat breakfast, we can see the counselor," but the counselor never came up to see her. She said Neziah will always stop in to see her in the mornings and during lunch, and she did not see her on January 10th, despite Neziah being marked present in school attendance records. Latricia Johnson, who has a daughter with Jarvis, said that he asked to borrow her car on January 9th, and he was out all night with it. He picked it up around 9 p.m. that evening and didn't return it until about 8:30 a.m. the following morning. He borrowed the car again either later that day or the next day, Johnson said, noting she couldn't remember which. She said after he returned the car, her son found a pair of clear framed glasses in the back seat. Jarvis had told her that they were his son's glasses. When she was shown a photo of Neziah from school wearing a pair of clear framed glasses, Latricia said they were clear just like that, referring to the last picture Neziah had taken on her tablet. Following that preliminary hearing, Judge Elias Sabri declared there was enough evidence for Jarvis Butts to go to trial. He's currently being charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child sexually abusive activity. As a community, we should look at this case as a prime example of how much work we have to do when it comes to protecting our children, and especially Black girls, said Judge Sabri in the court hearing. His official court date has been set for October 6, 2025. A 7 News Detroit investigation found that Jarvis Butts was named in at least 5 CPS complaints since 2015, including one that he had inappropriately touched Neziah in 2022. While multiple complaints allege improper touching or raised concerns about possible molestation, none substantiated sexual abuse. Neziah's cousin, Kawana Morton, and her great-aunt, Jernell, spoke to different media outlets about the case. In February of 2022,
Hold on,
Jernell...
Asa. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
All of these fucking bullet points, and not one person was like, keep this motherfucker away from children. Like, I'm sorry
Nope.
to cut you off.
Nope.
I deep dived.
This is so long.
Listen, I deep dived into Reddit. Y'all, this shit is way bigger. Like okay, y'all know we usually do a script. Ace's script is 5 pages long.
Yep.
She's not even touching the surface of all the deep dive shit that is going on. I have seen, oh my God, I saw a video of the grandmother confronting him. You saw that? Did you see that video of the grandmother confronting him?
I saw the one
that? Like
with
his
aunt talking about.
He was accused of molesting his own daughter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they were saying that 20 years ago, he was tied up with this scammy preacher and might have been involved in some sex trafficking shit. Like, what is happening here, y'all?
At what point do y'all say we need to separate him from
Keep
everybody
this
in our
nigga
family?
away from kids.
He's the weird uncle that cannot come to Thanksgiving. He can't come to Christmas. Like, I don't give a fuck how many kids you got. And I'm just like, I'm sorry to like completely like veer off your script, and I'm gonna shut the hell up in just a second.
That's okay.
But I watched this entire, like, first, let me just say, the judge in his case is a Black woman. So when she mentioned, about caring about she's a Black woman and she's younger. So she gets it. And she's also a Detroit native. I watched that entire preliminary hearing every single day that they were in court. This motherfucker sat behind his attorneys with his head down, like he could not fucking be bothered to be there, to be present.
Mm-hmm.
He was like drawing in his fucking notepad, like, you goofy bitch, are you insane?
Mm.
And like
Yeah.
they wouldn't even let people who wanted to come in to be spectators in because they were afraid he would be attacked.
Oh yeah.
Where were y'all when the girl was alive? Okay, everybody got all of
Hmm.
this smoke for him. Where the fuck were y'all when
Hmm.
she was alive?
Now, yeah,
It's disgusting. And then there's something
exactly.
else that I noticed that we have discussed on here before: the importance of colorism in situations like this.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Jarvis
He's a young
Jarvis
nigga.
Butts
It's but
Jarvis Butts looks like the boy version of me. Okay? He's light
Mhm.
skinned, he's got like loose curly hair. He
yeah.
might be mixed, I don't fucking know. But all his baby mamas look like the exact
Dark.
opposite of him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
I feel like what happens when we allow colorism in our community to drive our decisions, we convince little
Mm-hmm.
black girls who grow into black women who have
Mhm.
richer skin. The darker your skin, the uglier you are. That's how society frames it. And you have these women who get to this point where it's like, oh, this pretty light skinned, oh, he like me, oh, he want to be with me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be with him then. And then they
Yeah.
do whatever
Mm-hmm.
they can to keep him around. But as a
Mm-hmm.
result of those wounds that you have that are so deep, you put these little girls in danger.
Mhm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's
Mhm.
this multi-tiered, multifaceted issue that it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And it makes me so sick because it's like nobody poured into those women when they were little girls to tell them that they were beautiful
Mhm.
and worthy and they should be
Mhm.
respected.
Mhm.
So they
Mhm.
found the
Mhm.
first, light-skinned nigga with, pretty eyes and pretty hair and whatever the fuck,
Mhm.
and decided to do
Mm-hmm.
anything that they could to keep him around. Like, as you started talking, Asa, I'm like, I'm started remembering details from the preliminary hearing where the one ex of his was like, oh yeah, he had my car all night. Who the fuck is letting the dude, you can just keep my car all night,
Right.
it's fine. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
this is not somebody that
No
you're
questions
with.
asked.
One of his children's mothers got on a stand and was like, oh yeah, we've been together for all these years, but it's never really been like serious. So that's already telling me you have multiple children with him, but you're
Mm-hmm.
saying that your relationship with him was never serious. It was just sexual. We know what that means. That means you wanted him
Mm-hmm.
around. And he said, in order for me to be
Mm-hmm.
around, I can't
You
be
gotta let
committed
me
to
have
you.
access to your child.
Right.
But also you gotta
You
let me
have
have
to let
access
me
to
do
the
what I
bitch.
want.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You got to let me do whatever the fuck I
Mhm.
want to do, whenever I
Mhm.
want to do it. And nobody on that stand looked angrier about what he did than his sister. The women he
Mm.
has children with did not look angry enough. They did not sound angry enough. His sister
Oh.
looked at him like she wanted to throw up in his mouth, like livid.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna calm down. I need a moment.
Oh,
I'm just I'm
it's
I'm just very. This is just sick.
um I don't like Shannon in this. I'm sorry. Like
No, neither do I.
I
Neither
don't
do
like
I. Not
Shannon
at all.
in this. There's just too much. You like you said. Um, Sometimes, and we've seen this. Sometimes these men do these things, and the mothers have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones who immediately leave, try to
Mm-hmm.
kill them, whatever the
Yep.
situation is. Like they absolutely have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
When you come across a situation where a mother finds out, or whoever the mother figure is finds out that a man is sexually abusing the daughter and she stays, or whatever situation, she knew the whole time. She's
Mm-hmm.
always known.
Yep.
And this man has been abusing children for over 20 years. Now, he has not moved around the country like that. He's been in the same area. And this is
Yes.
Detroit, and I'm not going, again, I love my Detroit folks or whatever, but just like with Chicago and R. Kelly, y'all niggas in
Yep.
Chicago knew what R. Kelly was doing.
A lot of it is an open
And
secret.
it's some open secret shit, right? And there's a lot of stuff that happens in different, disenfranchised cities where these men, many of whom are stunted themselves. And again, I'm not making excuses. I just, whenever I talk about R. Kelly, I have to talk about it from the lens of this man is like a fucking child in a man's body. I mean, he so much sexual abuse himself, stunted, illiterate, like all those things, right? And his pull towards these younger people is likely because he really sees them as his fucking peers, or he just feels control, whatever that is. I'm not making excuses, just trying to understand this shit. And so that's how I feel in some ways about Jarvis. If he started, because he was 41 when he killed her, I was looking at it. If this was starting 20 years prior at 21, what was going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what makes you start with that? Now, one thing I do know, and I'm always going to throw out all kinds of ideas. I know that schizophrenia, for example, is onset around ages 17 to 23 for men, right? A lot of men's mental health issues starts to set on around that time. Something obviously sick, something he's unwell, right? And he developed this predilection towards abusing young girls, and to the point where he seeks out mothers, and like you said, Nikki, he went after the dark-skinned girls with the low self-esteem. That's what he did. He started looking at these women,
Heavier set, darker
skinned women, probably living in lower income spaces and things like that. He found the people to exploit. And we keep telling the sisters out here, and I know for me, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to put it on the show. These are my views and my views only. I tell women all the time, you got a small child, small daughter especially, do not bring these niggas home. Do not move these niggas into your house. Do not bring him around your child. You want to go out, maybe once a week and go have your little date time and have your little fun. That's fine. But do not bring these niggas around your children, because there are so many of them that intentionally seek single moms with daughters so they can have access to them. And that's exactly what I think is going on here. And I think there's some complicity in it. Can't
Absolutely.
There's so many things. I'm just like
from the coworker having no qualms about giving a ride to picking up a 12-year-old with him and taking them back to the shop to do whatever. You're complicit in this. You knew he ain't got no business hanging
That's another
out.
thing. That's another thing. And because he testified, the coworker testified in the preliminary hearing, and he was known to Naziah, meaning Jarvis brought Naziah around that man multiple times. He would bring her to, because he owned that shop. They owned that shop together.
And people saying there might have been some sex trafficking happening. The back of them barbershops and the back of them stores.
Yeah. And
remember
if
when
you
Jada
know that
did that special?
If you have an auto shop and you have access to the entire place, you got the keys to the joint. Ain't no telling what's happening at whatever time. Ain't no telling what's happening when you ain't got no customers. With all of his gallivanting in the middle of the night and I'm gonna take your car and just be gone all night. Ain't no telling what he's doing. We have no idea. It reminds me of the Breasia Terrell case. Middle of the night. Middle of the night, Henry Dinkins puts her in his car and she's never seen again. We don't know what's happening in the dark when we are all at home in our beds. But the boogeyman really does exist. I'm sorry, Asa, go ahead.
That's all right. Where was I? In February of 2022, Journelle says she learned of allegations of improper touching involving Jarvis and other children. She says she was told about the claims while talking to her niece, Shannon Harris, and that the alleged victims were Naziah and 2 other children. She says she took the claim seriously, in part because he was on the sex offender registry, having spent more than 8 years in prison for third-degree criminal sexual conduct. However, she said she held off on alerting authorities because her niece said she would report the claims to police. But weeks later, on April 13th, 2022, Journal says she called and alerted Child Protective Services. There was an incident at a birthday party. The complaint reads, one of the children that attended the party accused Jarvis of sexual abuse. Neziah, and name withheld, reported that Jarvis touched both of them inappropriately as well. Jarvis touched, name withheld, in her private area, and it hurt. They basically told me if they needed me for anything else, they would reach out, she said, adding that she was not contacted by CPS again. The next day, Janelle received a text message from her niece, Shannon Harris, confirming that she'd been contacted by CPS. CPS called me, the text reads. They called about the well-being of my kids. Then they called back to get Jarvis info. A CPS spokeswoman wouldn't tell 7 News Detroit if investigators ever questioned Neziah Harris about the allegations that she was touched, or whether they notified police, citing state and federal law. But that wasn't the only CPS complaint against Jarvis Butts. Of course it's not. Kiwana Morton said she heard about the same allegations against Jarvis from a conversation with his girlfriend, Shannon Harris. 2 months after her cousin's call to CPS, she filed her own complaint. It's very frustrating. We have been adamant about not just letting the family know, but Child Protective Services know way before Neziah came up missing. I told them that there's a problem and they need to be aware of it. I'm 90% sure that there's sexual abuse going on within the home, Kiwana said. Did you specifically mention Jarvis by name? Asked Channel 7's Ross Jones. Yes, absolutely, she replied. Internal CPS records obtained by 7 News Detroit show investigators looked into a complaint in June of 2022, conducting a face-to-face interview with Jarvis Butts, who strongly denied the allegation.
Hold
A
on,
forensic
hold
interview
on,
was conducted.
hold on. A man who has been jailed multiple times
Mm-hmm.
for sexually assaulting a child and is also a registered sex offender and was like, oh no, I'm not doing that again. Be fucking I can't. I need them to
It's
be so
almost
fucking
done.
for real. I'm sorry, go ahead.
A forensic interview was conducted with the alleged victim and no disclosures were made, records show. CPS said the home was clean and free of observed safety concerns. The allegation was denied and assigned a low risk level. Low risk, despite this man having a track record of sexual assault that he had been convicted and served time for. Just over a year after the last complaint on record, Jarvis Butts would be charged with sexually assaulting and murdering Neziah Harris. I'm brokenhearted because this could have been prevented, all of it. Kiwana said, all of it could have been prevented. In addition to the charges brought by the case of Neziah Harris, Jarvis Butts has also been charged with the following 2 assaults. It is alleged that from April 2012 to April 2014, he sexually assaulted the victim at a residence in Detroit. He has been charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 3 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. It's also alleged that from July 2015 to July 2017, he sexually assaulted the victim at a residence in Detroit. He was charged with second-degree criminal sexual conduct. Both victims were under the age of 13 at the time of these offenses.
Listen.
So we have a lot.
Listen. Oh my God.
A lot of complicity going on.
So,
A lot of blame is to be shared.
Okay, wait, but listen. Word on the street, allegedly.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I think I can't remember if we missed it. We've been talking about this for a long time. Allegedly, the grandmother, that's Annette, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, she had been sleeping with Jarvis too.
Oh, God.
So the aunt,
that
Shannon,
makes...
So Shannon said that she walked in on them many years ago. As allegedly. And I was looking at it and I was like, y'all sure? But a lot of people were saying, yeah. So apparently this man has run through this family. And this man has a hold on this family. You know what I mean?
Clearly.
Like there's something there. And that's why, you know, there's been a lot of rumors about trafficking and things like that. But the reason why I'm not completely dismissing that is because I remember Jada Pinkett Smith's special on like human trafficking and kind of the stories. And the one, she was a brown skinned girl, and was talking about how she was being trafficked out of a barbershop. And men would go into the barbershop, pay to have sex with her, and they would assault her in the barbershop. When this story of this damn shop came up that they had, it made me think about that. Right? And like we say with all this, it made me think about, is this possible that this is what could be happening with this man? That he's literally like working his way through finding these girls, doing his nasty shit, but also possibly, you know, taking them elsewhere. They still haven't found her body, right?
Right.
What if she's alive and has been sold somewhere? This is a little girl who had an iPad, right? That we're gonna call her a little girl. I don't care what everybody online talking all that shit that they were talking, because that's what really pissed me off about this story. Acting like she enticed him, like she knew what she was doing, and she no. 11-year-old don't fucking know better. She believes she's in love with a 39-year-old man. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that girl, all they gotta do, couple of pinches to the arm, she's high, she's done. They can keep her doped up, whatever situation is. She would not know her up from her down. She could be at 11 years old, having never really left the area. She could be in fucking Alabama somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and would not know her up from her down. And could, you know, now she would be what, 14, maybe 15? She's still a young girl. Yeah. So I know they charge her with murder. And maybe he did kill her. They haven't found the body. But I don't want to rule out the fact that this man had a pattern. And it's clear that people are kind of covering up for him in some way or making excuses or whatever situation. You know, they had enough witnesses. They're like, nah, you're a dirty dog. But listen, man, like Nikki said, they were not, nobody was going hard enough on this man. Right. So I'm not ruling that out.
Ain't nobody take a bat to his knees or nothing.
Nobody.
Like you find you because everybody didn't find this out after she went missing.
Right. And what didn't he have a Jaguar? Wasn't he driving a Jaguar? That was the car that they was in. Yeah, there was a Jaguar involved. I'm like, well, that's not a cheap car. So what is going on? Where you getting money from, bruh?
But if anyway, I remember correctly, the one reason, if I remember correctly, the guy that he owned that shop with, the co-worker that testified, because that guy was locked up during the preliminary hearing. So that man is back in jail for something different. They were, I believe that they were selling drugs, and I also believe that they were either stealing cars or chopping cars, one of the two. And I think one of the holds that someone like him can have on a family is the utility in which he can serve. Yeah. If he can fix cars and he can clean and he knows how to cook and he, you know, and then he knows all the seedy people. So anything that you need in the hood, and you know you're a single mom, you ain't got a lot of money. If I go to my baby daddy and tell my baby daddy that my kids need X, Y, and Z, he gonna make sure that they get it. It's probably going to be stolen or, you know, ill-gotten in some way, but I'm going to get it. And that's one of the dangers of living in poverty and having to create community in poverty without the integrity, without the trust, without the actual love that's supposed to be there. It's how can I best exploit whatever this resource may be? And in his case, it was how do I exploit these women who love me, who care about me, who like me, so I can get whatever it is that I want from them. whether it's their bodies or their children's. And he's been doing this
He
shit for
has,
so
yeah.
long.
He got so many baby mamas.
Hella.
So many. Like, so many. And they all look similar. And
yes.
That's
That's why I pointed it out the way I did, because I'm like, how come all your baby mamas look like?
Again, yeah, like you said, he targets a particular person. There was somebody, there was another thing. Somebody said exactly what you said, Nikki. Women who feel like he's out of their league. You know? And so, yeah, I like to do these deep dives because that's where the real juice, like we can get a lot of the stuff from the news and stuff like that. And y'all, we not, everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. Yeah. We not making no claims, but what we do on this show is we like to think some things through. Yeah.
And like, I have a feeling that I do think he killed her because she was pregnant, and that would have brought too much heat onto him and his little situation with the family.
Yeah.
Like,
but
that
also,
completely,
as many times as he has sexually assaulted a child, there was always going to be a shadow of a doubt, because it was always going to be their word against his. So he could always use that and say, oh, that didn't happen. Nope, that was made up, or their mom was mad at me, or whatever he want to say. But if you get somebody pregnant, there is no way that if you let that woman and her, or let that girl and her unborn child live, there is no way that you can say, I didn't do that.
Right.
There's no way that you can deny it and say, oh, I never messed with that girl, because she had a baby. And the baby is there. And if the baby is biologically yours, like, you can't say that you didn't do the shit. And I think that somebody like him knows that you only get so many chances to be the boogeyman. And he knew to stay in his normal, in his usual lane of boogeyman-ness. And that was, towing the line as far as he could without creating a new life. Because when I was watching the preliminary hearing, they had one of the detectives read every single text message. He talked to that girl like she was a grown woman. And this goes back to what FJ was just saying about, him not being developed properly mentally. Because a grown man who is fully well adjusted as an adult is not going to talk to a child that way.
Right.
Like, oh, babe, I'm gonna come pick you up, babe. Like, you're not gonna talk to a child that way.
Yeah, because they'll turn on almost like baby talk when they're talking to younger people.
Yes.
And I've seen those kinds of text exchanges. They talk to them like they are younger because they actually get off on that. So yeah.
And as I'm listening to the woman, like, and she was having trouble reciting it because it was so graphic and disgusting. Yeah. And I don't normally, like, I watch a lot of trials, and when I watch them, a lot of times the detectives can just like read the text messages almost in just a utilitarian way, because that's their job. But when it comes to something like that, they stumble, and because it's gross. It's gross to think like this actually happened to this little girl. This grown ass man was talking to her in this way and saying all these graphic things that he wanted her to do to him, and vice versa, and whatever. And if you're reading this exchange back and forth and you didn't know how old either party was, they sounded like they were like older teenagers, maybe like they were, yeah. And it's come to find out you're almost 40 years old. Again, we need more intervention in the neighborhood. Yes. There needs to be more intervention, because first of all, where in the hell are all the fathers? All the fathers. There's like no men in this entire scenario who were not harmful. So like, there's really only two men that keep coming up in the story. One is the coworker and one is Jarvis, and they're both harmful. There is no man of honor to be found. So you have these men who are present They're present. And for a lot of women, all they need is for a man to be present. He ain't got to be no good. He just got to be there.
Yeah,
Mm.
he just would be there because his existence being there validates them as a woman. There's nothing worse for a woman in this sexist society than to be single. Okay, and it's better to
And
have
have children.
and have children. It's better to have a shitty man and have a piece of him, right? Because he could share them with other people too, than to have no man. But I like this theory about Latasha Pettis, one of his baby mamas, who actually lives close to where the last place that her device pinged and Znaya's device pinged. The streets are saying that they need to be looking at her, and the reason why is because she has some stuff going on with one of her baby daddies' involvement with somebody that killed a nigga. Listen, there's so much here, but she's a behavioral tech, which is really interesting to me. She works in the mental health field, but she's got a bunch of legal cases that she's been involved with related to her baby daddy, who is a street dude and has been caught up in the law as well. So again, back to this idea that there may be a ring or something going on. And some people say, well, maybe he went to visit her and brought the girl with him or whatever, but I don't know, man. I just think there's some stuff. There's way more, I think, to this story. And at the end of the day, for me, whether he's convicted or not, probably will be, but they have no body, but whatever. He's been a violent predator for more than half of his life.
Yeah.
He should not be breathing. That's really it. And for those who are listening to us, and maybe this is your first time listening to one of our episodes, we are abolitionists over here, and we do believe in community justice, and that's why we keep talking about this idea of nobody did anything to this man, nobody handled this man. The first time anybody caught wind that this man was abusing children, nobody took him out. Like, nobody made it so that he would never want to touch another child again. And that's where I get stuck with these things. It's like, and I'm sorry, give me 2 seconds to rant, y'all, because I keep going back, and this is the historian in me. I keep going back to the ways in which colonizers have completely destroyed healthy sexuality among African Americans and descendants of enslaved Africans. Okay, these people forced parents to have sex with their children, siblings to have sex with each other, to breed, and to do these kinds of things. They assaulted them, okay? Adults assaulting children. They purchased children for the sake of sexual sadism and their own pleasures. Like, over generations, that cultivates a very unhealthy relationship with sex and sexuality, a very distorted one, a sick one, a one in which we don't know our ups from our downs. And I think that within our communities, we have perpetuated a lot of this trauma and these harms in which we don't actually see the problem with sex that involves children, or we see it as something that it just happens. We don't have, what can we do about it? This is just something that happens. Or we've learned how to blame each other to preserve ourselves. And so when I see stuff like this, and again, I know them crackers do it because that's exactly who the fuck they are. And white men are really vile and disgusting. But who did we learn it from? Because it was them who was forcing us into these deviant, horrifying, violent sexual situations that over time, as young people say, I believe psychologically we began to normalize. And if it's not that, then we're on the extremely conservative side because of religiosity. And we know what happens when religiosity gets involved in sex and sexuality. It turns people into fucking deviants, okay? There is no one more sexually deviant than a devout Christian. And that's on my mama, okay? Because of the restrictions, because of the limitations, because of the threats of punishment, or these kinds of things. And so we end up cultivating this. And so when we see these girls going missing or these girls being abused within our communities, the first thing I'm going to think about is this, like, what the psychology of the people around, the psyche of the people around them. What were they taught about healthy sex and sexuality? And we know the answer is next to nothing, because that's not what we do. We continue to invite the funny uncle over. We continue to allow the boyfriend that is lingering a little too long to come sit on my lap, nigga. If you got somebody that's coming to your family functions and is telling the children to come sit on their lap, that's your fault. Because no grown-ass man should be asking a child to come sit on their goddamn lap. And we let that happen. And then you force your children to give hugs and kisses to these adults when they don't want to. We all play a part of that. Well, I don't, because I don't do that shit. But so many of us do. And it disgusts me because we won't confront it, because we think that it says something bad about us, because then we have to acknowledge that we let it happen. And so what I want us to think about when we hear these stories and when we start to look at these kinds of cases and we see the first thing that people do is blame these girls, let's associate it with this disgusting, disjointed, deviant, like extraction from healthy sex and sexuality that is rampant in our communities. And again, I don't say none of this shit to make an excuse, but to try to understand it so that we can fix it. And I'm done. Thanks for letting me have that moment, y'all.
Sometimes we need it. We need a soapbox.
I guess I'll be Dr. FJ.
And you was right. Well, that has been the story of Naziah Harris. Sorry it was, that heavy, but
Sorry we're so angry,
This
but like
is,
we're angry.
He's the R. Kelly of Ypsilanti.
Man,
Lord Jesus. So his trial is in October. His that's not funny. It's in October. We will be watching that. We will, have an update. I am pretty sure that all of the information that came out in the preliminary hearings will be built upon by October. I'm sure of that. Because there's so much evidence.
Yeah,
and
the election is October 5th, I think.
Yeah. And I strongly encourage people to just, tune into our social media, tune into the podcast, subscribe, like, share with your friends, and come back and go through this with us. And I like to reiterate that one of the things that sets us apart from other true crime podcasts is we are not here looking to like go viral off of a Black girl's pain. We want people to understand that we are Black women who are concerned about the safety of Black girls. We do this show because when we started doing this show, there was nobody else doing shows like this. And we come from a lens of understanding the systemic dangers of being a Black girl in the United States of America. We also understand that law enforcement is not there to protect or serve anybody but themselves. And a lot of shows don't address that. They are not abolitionists. They are not anti-police. They are not anti-establishment. We are, and that's what makes us different. So when we start peeling back the layers, it's because all of these layers make one society.
Right. And the ultimate goal of the show is to not have any more episodes, to not have any more cases like this. And that's why we give that context and that understanding as to the whys this happens, so that the people that listen to our voices can think on it and change their own behaviors if they do see themselves reflected in these storytellings.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My Black daughters my cats are doing something in this room right now. And I'm like, y'all about to go.
They want you to stop making all that damn noise.
Right. Now you about
Rufus
to go.
has been on one this whole episode.
See how these Black babies. We gonna get Nikki a cat at some point.
Oh yeah.
I don't even like cats.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You love them.
I don't.
You love
I just want everybody to know that Nikki bought Ace's cat toys, and I have 4 cats, and she didn't get mine any. But that's okay. I hope you all enjoyed this episode.
Not you ending off with this little shady retort. Okay, all right.
Yo,
You
cats
know,
is antisocial and they don't like to talk to nobody.
well, that's not true. You know, Des
Only
and
two
Fink
of
love
them.
you. They
Dez is
be
a
all up in
black
your
man.
I
face.
seen
A
it.
black man love a thigh now. I got a thigh and he can't wait to come
Especially
get
if it's
on
light
it.
skin.
He
Oh
love
my
that. He like,
goodness.
oh, there she go with all them legs. Come here, girl.
Yeah, but we do appreciate everybody for listening. We love doing this, and it's been like 5 years. Oh, actually, this like we it's been about 5 years
Next
now that we've been
next
doing
month
this.
it'll be
Next month,
yeah.
since we
Next month
started
it'll be
recording.
5
I think we
years.
came up with the idea before that, but
6
yeah,
years. Yeah.
Look at us
yeah,
aging.
we've been at this for a
Y'all are
minute.
aging. I'm a PYT. Thank you very much.
Well,
Wow.
I'll take that because I am definitely
At
aging.
least I have a tan.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, the girls are fighting.
The fuck?
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye, y'all. Take care, y'all.
Hate y'all.
Black Girl Missing Podcast is researched, written, and produced by 3 concerned black women who want justice for missing black girls. You can find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Please remember to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite platform so we can keep bringing you the stories of black girls that need to be told. Visit us at blackgirlmissingpod.com for all things Black Girl Missing. Today's episode was written by Asa Todd and produced by Nikki Irene.